Hello and welcome back to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Atkins. Back after a brief hiatus. Joining me here today, we have Louis Serra and Keith Conroy and John Quayle. Hey guys, thanks for being here. And today we have something a little bit different for you. We don't have a live battle to show you, but we have an upcoming event to announce that is going to be running online, and we are going to be broadcasting several of the matches from it. I'm sure everybody here, if you're watching Dash 28, you play Kings of War, you know that we are all staring down the barrel of a brand new Clash of Kings update that is promised to be a massive change to the game and how it's played and just every aspect of it. And we've been seeing lots of previews over the course of the last few weeks, which is all great. It's building a lot of anticipation. Everybody's really excited about it. And so the book is about to come out. And when the book comes out, everyone is going to collectively lose their minds trying to figure out what it means and what they should do and how they should approach their army, or should they change armies, or which things should they pick, or whatever. So what we've tried to do here, which John will explain a little bit more, is we've tried to put together an event that will help showcase the changes to a lot of the armies. We've gotten some top players, some very experienced players, some play testers together. And we're going to play a little online cup style event to show off what you can do with the armies now under the updated Clash of Kings. So that's the brief pitch, and from here I'm going to turn it over to John, who's done pretty much all the legwork on this thing, which is why it's named after him, to have him go through a little bit more of the details and tell you guys what the deal is and what you can expect and what we're going to be showing you over the next few weeks.
See, that's it, Mike. You've ruined it for me already. You've given away the game, right? It is just going to be 16 quality players. Well, I say quality. Some of them we drag from the bottom of a barrel somewhere, I swear. But it's going to be really interesting just to explore of the new rules, which are just going to change the landscape in Kings of War, which is great. I love it. It's going to be amazing. Now, admittedly, it is in my name, and I have to be honest, it wasn't my choice. I was forced into it at gunpoint. You know this, Mike, don't you? It was a case of if I didn't name it this, nobody was going to take part, which I think is a lie, but I think it was just so that it made more embarrassment for me. But I don't mind. Let's do this.
John,
clever names.
We're supposed to sit here and nod while you lie about naming it after yourself. So.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I read that part out loud.
Having a clever name for something is key in my experience. Like, if you want people to jump on board with something, you have to think of a clever name. So here we go. All right, so for those of us here in the States who don't understand how cup tournament formats work, can you explain what the group things like? No, I'm used to playoffs. I don't know what this whole group play thing, World Cup happens every once in a while. We pretend to understand it and then we forget about it. So if you could give us some hints on what the format's going to be here.
Every 4 years, North America cares about soccer and then kind of drifts off.
Right, and then forget all about it.
Soccer doesn't exist, does it? You're just making a word up now. Yeah, I mean, Louis and me are all used to this because we will live in let's be honest, countries that understand how sport should be played. But its basic format is you start with a group stage, and that's what we're going to be drawing today. Is that we've got these 16 players lined up. We can't just pit the best versus the best. We've got to at least put some randomness in it. So you got 4 groups. Each of them are going to have players from different parts of the world. The great thing about all these 16 players is we've got people from Singapore, Australia, Argentina, the great old US of A, Canada, the UK, Spain, Russia, of all places. So we're going to split them all up into different groups, and then the top 2 from each of those groups is then going to go through to the playoffs. A little bit like you have in America, but each group is going to play each other once. So it's going to be really important at this stage who draws who. So we could have a group of death, which is the great thing that we use when it comes to the World Cup, is that we could draw 4 players who are so good that we just don't know who's going to come out on top on that group, and that could make it really interesting going into the playoffs, because then that gives a bye for maybe some players who could then go right. Well, I know that I'm going to have a fairly decent quarterfinal, which usually goes completely out the window. If anybody's like followed football, we've had like England lose against Iceland in the quarterfinals, and these things can happen. But that's the beauty of this.
So the players are going to be in groups. They're going to do a round robin through the group. So they're going to play the other 3 players in the group. Top 2 go on, and from there on, it's just a straight single elimination quarter, semi, final.
Yeah, that's it. So like the deciding who wins the groups is going to be done on a blackjack basis. So they're going to have we're going to use the blackjack scoring system. So it's going to be representative not just of kills, but also of objectives. But when it gets to the playoffs, it's all going to be down to objectives. It's all going to be about winning the game. So in certain scenarios, we're going to be in a place where they're going to be a tie at the end of, say, round 6 or 7, depending on the role. And if they're at a tie, we're going to have to play an extra turn. So there could be some games that roll over 2 or 3 extra turns if you can't find a winner. So that's going to be really interesting.
Okay, cool. All right.
It's worth pointing out that at this point in time, the 16 players, we spent a bit of time choosing who they would be, and then everybody decided they weren't available. So we've had to then kind of amalgamate it as best we could to get 16 players. So as I said, sometimes we're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
All right, so let's go on. Let's talk about who exactly the players are going to be and what armies they're going to play. Now, you said that we are not able to show the lists yet because the book isn't out yet, right? But we can say what armies people are playing.
Yeah, exactly. I've got all the lists written up, so everyone knows what they're going to be taking. But because the book is not going to be shipping to the 8th, we're probably going to look to like release the lists middle of next week, so that everybody then has an opportunity to look at what filth they're taking. I've already had a look at the lists, and it's a really good mix of some subtle changes around the new book, and then some where they've really taken on what's coming out new, and it's really altered the way that they're going to be playing. So it's looking really good.
And how did we go about picking army? Because you haven't allowed anyone to duplicate armies, right? Like you've...
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I thought we have to get one of each. We can't have multiple undead armies. Let's say, not saying right. Louis, that you would always take an undead army, despite the fact you wouldn't be allowed to, would you? Yeah.
No, yeah. I don't play.
Right, but you wouldn't want like eight halfling armies versus 8 Rift-Forged orc armies, or maybe we would. Who knows? But that's not what you're getting. You're getting one person playing Rift-Forged orcs, one person playing halflings, and then everybody else is spread around. Just did they get to pick which army? Was there a list that people like called dibs or?
Well, that's it. So what I did is I let everybody had to call blank and just give me their top 3 races that they wanted to take. And
okay.
And what we do is you just put them in ascending order. Luckily, I think most of them managed to get like their first pick, and some of them only had to maybe go to the second pick just so that we could get the variety in. The only person I threw under the bus was Alex Coos, because as part of this process, some people were playtesters and some people weren't. And Alex wasn't involved in the playtesting group, but I gave him the brand new army, the Rift-Forged orcs, without him realizing it. So now he's just going, he's gone balls deep and just gone, yeah, I got a completely new army. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's go, yeah.
Right. And so you had to actually get an NDA from Mantic for Alex so that he could see the list that he was going to play, right?
Yeah. So don't pester these guys, right? We've got them all in place. So they've all had a bit of practice. I gave them plenty of practice time. So they all should have an idea of what they're doing. But I think this is the beauty of a tournament like this, is it's the same way as everybody, when they first get the book, is what's going to work? Let's try something out. And I think there's going to be a few like that.
Yeah. And I see some in here that, look like what I would expect to see. We got Thomas from Norway playing Twilightkin, that's pretty standard for him. We got AG in Australia playing Abyssal Dwarves. That's pretty standard for him, I think.
Keith Randall with elves.
Keith Randall with elves. Jerry Greek playing Night Stalkers. Jeremy Duvall playing Basileans. Like a lot of these look like kind of first choice armies. Cy Brand playing Ratkin. Tom Robson playing League of Rordia. But then I see things like Jeff Trace playing Forces of the Abyss, and I'm like, does he play Abyssals normally?
Well, this is the scary thing: is Forces of Abyss with his first choice. And before giving you any lists, Jeff Trace army, you've got to look out for that. That is looking, as old Jeff Trace looks, you go, oh, geez, that's going to work really well.
Yep.
And you go, I don't want to play against him. But that's the same. I mean, I've looked at the list, and even like say Alex, who's got a completely new army, the list he's taking, the things that he's taking are just gonna blow people's mind, because it's gonna be a completely different way to play than some of the other forces out there, which is gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, there we go.
All right. All right, awesome. Anybody got any other questions or comments on the list, or should we pop over to the schedule?
It sounds like we are ready to go.
We're ready to go. All right. So here's the schedule that you put together.
We tried to be very tight on the constraints on here because we wanted to get it done fairly quickly. So this is one every weekend. So every round is going to be one weekend after the other. So it's going to be fairly quick in terms of a UB tournament, which I think is a slight different pace change for it. And I've tried to limit on the amount of availability on time for them to play games, so that we can try and view as many as possible, so that we can display a few. But also what I've done as well, because there's so many new rules with this COC 22 coming out, what I'm trying to do is take away a lot of the randomness with it. Let's make it as simple as it possibly can. So the missions and the maps are already set out. So it's going to be nice and simple for the players to kind of roll up to the table, know what game they're playing, know where they're going to be playing on, the terrain they're going to be playing on. So the only thing they have to worry about is what are they actually doing with their own army, which is
right.
It sounds simple, but it's going to be, when you see the things, it's going to be a lot harder.
And were you going to allow them to change lists between rounds at all, or is it just the one list for the whole event?
Well, it's going to be one list for the group stage, and then when we cut off, I'm going to give everybody the option of changing lists, only so that we maybe get a little bit more variety in there. Not as any kind of gaming sense to a certain extent, but I think it would just be nice if people feel that they want to maybe change race, that they could have the opportunity to do so. So it's one list for the group stage, and then one list at the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. Do you have it in America? Do you have it where they may bring in a player for the playoffs, that kind of thing, or is that not something they do?
Those sorts of things can happen. Yeah, I mean, you could change your lineup from one round to the next. Some American GTs will let you have like a sideboard, and then we'll let you swap some stuff in, or we'll play like different games at slightly different point levels over the course of the weekend. For some of the fancier ones, like some of the Crazy Texas ones, I think.
Crazy Texans,
do stuff like that.
So, John, what's the points level for everyone for this round, and is that going to change throughout the tournament?
No, we're gonna keep it at 2,300 because I think that's kind of the right points level. I mean, 2,500 I think would be nice, but I think that kind of encroaches on the size of the board, and I think what you do is you lose a little bit more. It's minor. It depends on the armies that you're using. So we're gonna stick with 2,300 because I think. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I mean, is 2,300 kind of like the standard points that we've been using your version 3? I don't know what it is. I think that's what it's been on UB, hasn't it?
Yeah, about 2,300. Yeah. And without giving away what's in the lists, have you seen a lot of these lists include the new items that have been revealed, or any of the new items that are in the book, spells specifically?
Oh, 100%. So you're going to see most armies will include at least one, if not two, changes around the items that they would take, and the spellcasters having one or two of the new spells. There's going to be a couple of the new spells, I think, which will have a massive impact on the way that you approach games, which is great. And I think that's it's just something more you have to allow for. There's not, you can't just turn around and go, right, I can turn up with my standard list and I know how it's going to work. You now have a few other things that you have to think, well, I'm going to have a counter for it, which is great.
So if you're on the fence after you buy this book about like, well, should I include this in my list? Should I try this unit? You're going to get some premier players and Jesse B from around the world who are going to be showcasing how to play these lists.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
He murdered in the last UB games, so it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, and I think that's it. So are we ready to pop over and do the group draw then?
All right, let's do it.
The fun bit.
Collective
Let's do the
worldwide
fun bit.
Drum rolls.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. You should have like some Jaws music at this point in time.
Yep. Who's
Right.
Okay, and just so everyone knows that what's going on here.
This is we use new technology, don't we? Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love this. I love this system. You've you're using the same thing they use for like D&D and stuff, don't you? Is that?
Yeah. Something's it's been sitting there logged in for a really long time, so I probably just need to reload it and get it recentered.
But this is going to be
How
good.
about
So
that?
we're going to draw one from each team.
Yep.
So each of the players have been broken teams and where they are in the world randomly. I don't know.
Shuffle that deck. Right, so I've got 3 decks. Yep.
So we're going to draw one for each of the groups and see how that lies, and then we'll come back around and double up on certain regions. So this is going to be good.
Yep. So we got 1 deck for the rest of the world bucket, one for EU and UK, and 1 for North America. So I'm going to start the first draw for Group 1 with one of the rest of the world players, and we get Paige Neo.
Paige Neo
Oh.
from Singapore?
Woohoo.
First one, and
See
he is bringing.
Green Lady.
Green
Yeah,
Lady.
the Green Lady.
He usually plays Green Lady, doesn't he?
He
He
does.
is in for a
He
surprise.
does.
This new book did really nice things for Green Lady.
And he made a
happy.
beautiful 100% Mantic army for Green Lady. He
Nice.
posted on Fanatics with a beautiful display board. It's amazing.
All right.
Unfortunately, you can't use it in UB, but I think if he did, he would get best painting. But anyway, carry on.
Sure. So now I'm going to pull one from the EU deck, and this will be, I guess this is going in Group 1, and this will be Paige's first round opponent. Is that right? Is that how we're doing that?
We could do that. Yeah. Let's see
right.
what it comes out.
So that's going to be Tom.
I think I've heard of him. He's some
guy.
right?
He's some guy that I know.
Guy. Yeah, playing some army.
All right.
This is the beauty that I love. This every draw is going to be a top player, and this is the great thing about it is that there's no chaff in this deck. It's all hammers.
Except for 1 or 2.
So that's going to be a Order of the Green Lady playing League of Rordia matchup. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and the North American going in this group is going to be Jesse B.
Jesse,
Oh,
there
there
he
you go.
is.
There's the chaff.
Bringing ogres, already the trendy pick for 2020 and 2021. And
loving ogres in
like with
2020.
everything, just getting better.
Filthy Undead.
Yeah, like the kind of mid-Atlantic and northeast of the U.S. is like every tournament we go to is like half undead and ogres.
Yes.
For some reason, like they're super duper popular right now. I don't know why.
We don't have
all right,
a single undead army in this, do we? I'm just thinking about this. Do we actually have an undead army?
That's a good selling point. No undead.
There's no undead armies in this at all. No, we did have somebody. Jesse was going to take undead, then he went to ogres, and
saw their new
I
stuff.
thought he was bringing Undead ogres.
Yeah, I'd check your I'm going to just check my messages to make sure like Jesse isn't like messaging going, "What the hell did you draw me in this
What
group?"
did you do? Welcome to the party. Yeah,
that's it.
All right, so now I'm going to go on. I'm going to move over, and we're going to draw the first 3 folks for Group 2, correct? And then we're going to do that for every group, and then we're going to come in and give you the last person, the ringer for every group, if you will. So starting back up here with rest of the world player Group 2, first pick is going to be Andrew Goodman.
Okay.
Abyssal Dwarves.
Yes.
Abyssal Dwarves.
Yeah. Very solid player.
Really solid player. Really solid.
Pleasure of losing to him and Call to Arms. And playing with Abyssal Dwarves. He plays with Abyssal Dwarves regularly, so I expect he will kick the tires on that list. And its changes quite
the list is looking good. He told me that it was I don't think this is this competitive. And I was looking at the list and going, I think you'll be fine. Right, I'll be honest, right?
Yep.
I can't see any weak links in here, but yeah, carry on, all right?
Yep.
All right, and his opponent for the first round is going to be Sam Sutton.
All right, the herd.
Sam's
bringing the herd.
Louis, you should know about him. Isn't he the Spanish champion at the moment?
He won the last big tournament. We don't have like GTs right now, but he won like a 32 people tournament. with the Order of the Green Lady, but he bring like a very mobile list, so he will be fine with the herd also.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keith would approve of his herd list. His herd list is looking really good.
I am excited to see it. Underpowered army for sure. Or
Oh,
overpowered?
geez.
There it is.
They need
Someone
crutches. They need
we're
crutches. You know, that's what they are.
contractually obligated to say it, so so someone has to. When you mention the herd,
Go on then. Who have we got then from
The-
Europe? Oh no, that was Europe, wasn't it? This is
this
America.
is North America.
America.
So North American player for Group 2 is going to be Joey Creek,
All right.
playing Night Stalkers.
That's going to be a tough matchup for the Abyssal Dwarves, won't it? You know, if he's taking some shooting and stuff like that, that's going to be interesting.
Joey
Yeah,
Greek
Joey's-
is phenomenal at Masters. He was right up there in the top tables, top 3 the entire time. 5th
He
overall.
finished 5th, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic
Yeah.
player, really good dude.
And he's
gonna
been
play
playing
good.
Night Stalkers for a really long time, so he's really familiar with them. So that should be really good.
I think when I was looking at his list, he's really taken advantage of some of the 22 changes. So it'd be really interesting seeing how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go down to Group 3. Here's the global bucket player for Group 3, and we're going to have Jeff Trace.
There we
Wow.
go.
Heard of him too.
Who is he? Yeah.
It was.
So we draw an ace in the first call. So everybody else is going right. Please just draw me in Group 4. That's what it's saying.
Right. Yeah, we were kind of talking about that. We're like, oh man, if like Tom Robinson and Jeff Trace end up in the same group, and it's the group of death or whatever, so like at least that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so and you said Jeff is playing Forces of the Abyss this time.
He's playing
Yes.
Forces of the Abyss, and his army's looking mean. He's looking real mean.
I have no doubt. All right, so let's see who his first round player from EU is going to be, and that's going to be Pascal.
Oh, Pascual.
See, I'm not familiar with Pascal. You're gonna have to. He's a fairly good player, isn't he, Louis?
Yes, he's an experienced player. He's from a region that there's like from his region there are I only know 3 players, but there are 3 really good time players, and he's always played Sylvan, and he was really kind of complaining that Sylvan was underpowered, and I think he will be excited to see some buffs and some changes on his army.
He's definitely trying a few new things in the Sylvan army. I expect some of the. What have they released? What are the things that they've released for the elves? What stuff can we actually talk about?
Sylvan, we did release for the Sylvan, so they are getting some new units from another second master list, so they can have units from the elves list and from Forces of Nature. They have air elementals. And the Stormwheel Cavalry is gaining a Pathfinder option.
He may not have taken that.
Yeah.
For really cheap. Yeah, I can imagine. And the Forest Shamblers have gained a unique upgrade, which is really good.
Yeah, his Sylvan army is looking really good. I love some of the new elven upgrades, like as you say, like the Pathfinder on those the Knights. Great. You know, massive difference.
Yeah, I think a few of those, I forgot that was an army. Armies are going to be all of a sudden top tier. And people are going to be like, wait, what? What the Sylvan can? The Rat can slave. And yep, they'll be there.
All right. Are we going to have an elf off then? Is this who have we
can
got
it
from the
be?
American side?
Oh,
I know that Keith
could
Randall
be.
wants to be in Group 1. I know he does. That's what he wants.
All right, well, let's see who the North American player is going to be, and it is Jeremy Duvall.
Jeremy Basilean.
Rocking the
My fair lady.
Basileans.
Yeah.
And he's the list he's running is making an advantage of because we've the Alohi Divine Fervor has already been taken by Kyle, hasn't it? So we already know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to agree with this.
now. Yep.
Oh. Okay. I'll maybe leave that out, but he's making the most of that rule.
There's a special rule with the Alohi that is going to be amazing,
it's
and
gonna
Jeremy's
be
going to
awesome.
take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah.
I'll remind
Sister
everybody
Heavy
that
as
we're
well.
live. There's no editing on this, so
Sister heavy as well. So Jeremy going back to his, our best roots, right? He really has gone for the ladies in the white gowns. He's going to be good.
All right. So that's the first 3 draws for Group 3. Now let's go over and see who the first 3 players in Group 4 are, and then we'll wrap back around and finish them out. So here we go. Rest of the world draw for Group 4. And the first slot is Sergei Kuvrov.
And
Russians.
he is taking Forces of Nature.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is taking Force of Nature. Sergey, I like
Okay.
Sergey. Sergey's really good.
I've
A really good
played,
player.
I've played against him, and he was using Forces of Nature. I think he uses on UB regularly Forces of Nature.
Yeah, I played him in the Digital Throne, and he beat me pretty bad. I would say go on a limb and say that Forces of Nature probably top 3 most improved.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
going to be taking Air Elementals.
Yes.
Keith will know
Okay.
all about that, but I don't know if it's been released yet. But they are the new hotness. They are the new hotness.
All right. And they're really easy to paint, right? You just show up with
Oh,
empty
Jesus
paint.
Christ!
Say there.
You know, what is it, like a wash and a dry brush of white, and you're done, right? You know, done.
You just bring a fan and just put the fan in your deployment zone and turn it on. Here they are. Air elementals.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Method acting.
Just
Love
that was that had like some leaves on some wire, just so they kind of wave, right?
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just static grass doing this. Like you just run a light current through it so it dances. Genius.
it.
Trying to figure out how to judge that with a checklist. I'll tell you. Anyway,
or buy the Mantic models is what you're trying to say, Mike.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Buy the Mantic models. Sure.
There you go.
Or get Mantic to make like a mini air conditioning unit.
Sure. Either way, my little Mantic branded 9-volt battery fan that I put on every base. All right. So let's see. Sergey is going to be playing Cybrand.
Hey,
Ratkin, I think.
Ratkin.
Yeah.
Ratkin.
You think if he took anything other than Ratkin, Cy wouldn't be Cy anymore. We'd have to call him something else, right?
You're
It'd
right.
have to be Brian Brand, right? You just wouldn't be the same person.
Yep. He's definitely got plenty of experience playing with him, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see. The North American player is Alex Coos.
Alex.
Out of all the armies, I'm really looking forward to seeing this one on the tabletop. You'll know why when you see it. It is just hilarious.
I really do want to see what's like this new army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that you have to choose one way or the other. And I think the new army, the new Reforged Orcs, are great because it's an Orc army that does everything you want as an Orc army. It goes up and hits stuff really hard.
It's super hard.
Right? Super hard. But the way that Alex has done it is a very different version. So it's going to be, I think it's a new rules, new way of playing, and I like it.
Mm-hmm. And the Riftforge got one of the best support pieces in the game, definitely added in. So I think we'll see that.
Yeah, let's hope that there isn't a typo in the amount that it costs in points. Sorry, this is an in-play tester joke. Sorry, but this is just. It's going to be one of the quickest like FAQs ever if it is.
No,
and if not, everyone's going to buy a model.
Exactly, and I've seen they got some of the concept art on the Mantic website, haven't they?
Oh,
and that
gorgeous.
looks really nice.
Really
all the models look really nice.
Posting a lot, yeah. So that means we will get to see Riftforged Orcs against a Forces of Nature list and a Ratkin list, plus another one that we're going to draw here in a minute.
Yeah, and Alex has got all the new hotness, so he's got no excuse not to win every single game. I'll be honest, right? You know, he's only got himself to blame if he fails.
That's it.
There we go. Put it all on him. All right, so now I'm going to wrap back around and draw the final person for Group 1 from the rest of the world pile, right?
It would be the rest of the world pile, so that's only going to be one player.
Yep, and that is going to be Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Wow. I think this is going to be the group of death at the moment.
That is, yeah.
One of my favorite people in the world to play. He is awesome.
Yes.
You haven't seen his halfling list. You haven't seen his halfling list yet.
Right.
You will come back to me and say, John, I take everything back.
I take that back.
He's got the dick list. Right?
That's what we're doing. We're resting on our laurels so we can just judge other people and not have to play them and get embarrassed in front of tens of people.
I have to admit, I've looked at Ezekiel's list and it is, yes, it's going to be something. It's not the aeronauts. It's not the aeronauts. I think it's a very clever list in what it does. But when you see it, you'd be like, "Oh, that really works."
I think you are the first one in a live stream. How do you saying that X made a good list? Normally in live streams they said, "Oh, this list is garbage, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
And then he wins the tournament. Then he wins
Right.
the tournament.
And
Right.
then you lose, and you're like, what happened?
And the worst thing
Yeah,
is he's a nice guy as well, isn't he? It's not
Yeah,
like he
he's
just
super
turned
nice,
around and
super
go,
nice guy.
he was absolute arsehole, and that's why he won. No, he's a really nice guy. Damn it.
Really nice guy.
Yeah, no, I've seen his Kingdoms of Men lists, and if he's approaching halflings in the same way he approached Kingdoms of Men, of just let me see how many bodies I can put on the table, like that's going to be an interesting thing to see. Yeah.
I'm excited seeing his list.
Well, that's it. You got to wait till next week. Sorry,
Yeah.
you know,
Find out.
NDA, all this
Yeah.
crap. Ooh.
Yeah. All right, so let's pop down and see which EU player is remaining for Joey Greek to play first round in Group 2.
Go for it.
And that's going to be Thomas Benreg-Anderson playing Twilight Kin, right?
Yeah,
Norway.
playing Twilight Queen. Yeah. As we know, Thomas, top player, and
Oh, yeah.
he's used to his Twilight Kin list. He's maybe gone the kind of halfway house with most people. He hasn't gone too many new changes, but he has used a few of the new changes to his advantage, and there's going to be some couple of terrible combos in his army looking pretty mean. So looking forward to that.
Watch out, Joey.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, then isn't this a Night Stalker off now? Because like Twilight Kin, loads of Chrome Band stuff. You know, who knows?
Yep, that's true. Okay, so now coming down to Jeremy Duval. So I'm going to draw. Should I draw the EU or the?
You'd have to be EU, wouldn't it? Because you want to play Jeremy Duval against EU rather than American. So
That's a good point because in the other groups,
American too.
Right, but at least he's Canadian playing an American instead of an American playing an American.
But we know who the last two players are. So go on, draw the EU player. Go on.
Yay!
So there's
Ed.
So come on, tell me what Ed's using. You guys know what Ed's using.
Probably a whole bunch of scouting stuff.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I played a couple of playtests. We played a couple of example games of this, and he was like, "I'm going to use Free Dwarfs," because he wanted to use Free Dwarfs. And the first game we played, he had an army of scouting. I was like, "Hang on, I've played this before, but you would normally with more branches." But you know, he's gone for a very different list, and Ed's a very clever guy. You know, he's a scholar. It literally is a scholar. So expect some interesting stuff from his games.
Yeah, Free Dwarfs right up there with Forces of Nature, definitely top 3 most improved armies.
But also the problem is they got so many changes that even he lost track. And he went, "Oh yeah, those guys have got that, haven't they?
They're even better."
I completely forgot about that. Oh, good God. And I went, yeah. Right, go on in.
Right. And
we know who the last person is.
another Keith.
Another Keith.
Doppel-Keith.
Doppel-Keith.
All right, so that's going to be Elves versus Rift-Forged Orcs, huh?
Nice.
Now, this is going to be, I think this is the interesting thing because Keith has gone very what he knows with his army. I think he has added a few changes in there, but he's gone with very much what he knows. So this is going to be the new versus not necessarily the old, but
classic.
The older. Yeah. Classic. There you go. Right, that's it. Vintage. Right.
Well, I think it was previewed that Elf Archers were getting ranged 4+ back, right? I think that was mentioned.
Yeah, so they're getting a bit pricier, and they do have a reduction in defense, but I think that's fair. I think that in terms of, exactly. I mean, what you didn't really want is like a unit that could do a bit of both, and I think actually making them like a lesser in the combat just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because every archer in different armies has one less defense than the warrior's counterpart, so it makes sense.
What else have they revealed from the elves? Because they have the most improved unit in the game. Like if you take a single unit, they have the most improved unit. Well, I won't give it away then, just in case. But when the book comes out, definitely you'll see exactly which one I'm talking about. You'll be like,
you mean the Silver Lancers that were revealed?
I don't know. I don't know if they've been revealed or not.
No. The Silver Lancers. I don't know. No, I mean the Silver Lancers is an upgrade that has been revealed. Is that what you're talking about?
It's the one similar to those, yeah. Yes.
Ooh, similar.
So we have.
Are you talking about the Glade Stalkers that now have actual slightly different versions in the different elf lists? So
yeah.
Okay.
Which is awesome.
I think they talked about that on Countercharge, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
One of those.
So that's it for. I think we may have lost John. Hopefully he comes back. So there you go, folks. That is the group draw. So we will be bringing you some of the group play matches in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes open for that. Yeah, we'll drop lists somewhere. We'll probably put them on Dropbox and post a link to it somewhere for people next week, and then we'll have some live stream games or games happening on UB. If people don't password lock the rooms, you can just drop in UB and watch if there's a game going on that we're not streaming, but you really want to see. You'll have all the lists. You can just go kind of be a fly on the wall and check it out. Hey, John's back. Okay, good.
Hey.
Anything else you want to do to wrap up, John? I was just sort of starting to wrap things up for us.
I guess it's going to be starting. We've already pointed out starting next weekend, isn't it? So we're going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday next weekend. What we're going to probably do is now everybody knows who they're going to be playing against. I'm going to get the guys to organise games straight away, so that we can then start to decide which ones we're going to possibly show, so that then guys can then see what's going to be coming up. I mean, out of all the ones that we've got up here, I don't know which ones you guys would want to see, but I think like Paige versus Tom looks like a really good game.
It's going to be really hard to pick these matches.
It is.
Probably
it's going to
come down to who's playing at a good time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's the beauty of it.
I want to see all of them.
Yeah, like I would definitely want to see Alex and Keith play, just because I kind of want to see the new orc list.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a really good game, and I think that's probably a really good one to have. So Alex and Keith, make sure you do it at a decent.
Yes.
But they're both North American, aren't they? So they've got no excuse. So they're not going to be doing it in at midnight sometime, on Sunday, right?
Right. They can do it at a nice, convenient time.
Do it at a nice, convenient time. But yeah, I mean, so what'll probably happen is I'll get all the guys to tell me when their games are going to be as soon as possible, so that we can then start to plan. What I'll probably be doing is telling them who they're going to be playing up in like week 2 and 3 as well. So then we can then post that up, so that we can then kind of plan ahead. But I think everybody's really interested to see what list they're taking, and as soon as feel comfortable, I'll put the lists up on. Where should we put those up on? Are we going to put those up on -28, or are we going to put them up on Fanatics or something like that? I think we'll just decide.
Yeah, so I think once you have all the lists, we can just you can send them to me. I'll put them on Dropbox, and I'll post a little news article to -28 with a link to it, and then that'll get cross-posted over to Facebook, and then everyone should be able to find it from there.
Yeah,
and then every time we schedule a live stream, I'll put a link to the lists in the video description for the stream as well.
What I'm doing a little bit of work on is making sure that we've got the lists all written out. So what will happen is that the list will be on a standard format, very similar to what you're used to with Easy Army. Just so you can see all the stats and all the rules that they're going to have and all the points costs and stuff. So it's going to be really easy to decipher. So you can it might be harder to find the changes, but at the same time, it just gives you like a whole feel for everything that's going on. But this is the beauty of it. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be new, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Anything else from our other commentators before we sign off here?
Nope, sounds good.
No.
just excited to watch all this.
Yeah,
play out.
To judge and not have to get tabled.
This is how you stay master, isn't it, Keith?
This is it,
If I don't play any more games ever, I am still the master.
That's a really good point.
Drop the mic, walk off.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't talk to anyone in the digital throne where I have not won a game yet. But yes. Yeah.
No, you're the strongest, because being at the bottom means you're holding everybody else up.
That's true.
That's how it is.
I have a question. Is one of these 16 people going to instantly break the game right now?
100%. One of them's going to do it.
Yeah, all 16.
One of them going to do it. And I'm hedging my bets. Probably it's Jeff's army. As I said, out of all the ones I've seen, I think Jeff's army is going to be a really good contender. And people are going to go, wow, I'm going to have to take that now. But then a lot of the other ones have got some really good stuff in it. Yeah, there could be something.
If he's got time, it might be fun to get like Tom Annis or somebody like that to do like a high level list review of these things. Just say like, these are my top 3 favorite ones or something like that.
What does he know about the game? He doesn't play that often, right? He's all talk. Right? I invited him on this, and he's like, "No, I got to back out. Sorry." He was too
There's
scared.
some amazing content that's going to be coming out of this new book. We're all really excited.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Sorry.
Yeah,
anyway, dragging on.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and we've tried to get our publication schedule worked out. So when the book comes out, we are going to be going through and updating all of the Army tier reviews. So every Army's S through D or however we do it, unit tier reviews will be updated. Hopefully before the end of the calendar year. We're going to try really hard and push really hard to get that done. We're going to try to make them as accurate as we can, but without a ton of play experience, we might be off by a little bit. We might do another round of fixing them up. But no, we have a lot of great content lined up and ready for the site. We have, some of our authors were playtesters, so they've been thinking about this for a while. So there should be some nice, insightful, like winners and losers or favorite formations or favorite items or spells kind of content coming out soon in the next couple of weeks, as soon as the book is out and we can start publishing stuff. And then we'll have these games. So yeah, we're going to have lots of content for everybody to consume. Everybody get excited. Like, this is a super exciting time for the game. So yeah, we'll see you all back, I guess, next weekend for whatever games that we're going to stream from the first round of group play. Other than that, until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying you stay safe out there. And thanks to Lewis and John and Keith for coming and hanging out with me while we're doing this. And a big thank to John for organizing all of this. You've done an outstanding job so far getting all this lined up, man. I appreciate it. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to only fall flat in its face from now. But hey,
All right. And we will see you next time on Dash 28 Live, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.